What's up everyone? This is my Rushmore bodied Hobbyplus Evo Pro. Here you can see it uses a Mofo big block and the stock brushed electronics. But not for long, because in this video I'm going to show you how to swap that out for a Furitek brushless system featuring the lite ESC and venom motor. The first step in upgrading to brushless electronics is removing the stock electronics. With the electronics out of the way, I can undo the 3 screws on the bottom of the skid to pull the motor. You also don't want to miss the screw that secures the shift servo bracket to the chassis. Now that the motor and trans have been removed from the chassis, you can begin to separate the motor from the trans. You do this by undoing 2 screws on the front side of the motor plate and then 2 screws on the back side of the motor plate. When I separate the motor and motor plate from the transmission, I try to make sure the gear set stays on the transmission side. And then it's just 2 screws to take the motor from the motor plate. Here's the Furitek Venom motor, which I'm putting in. You'll see that it doesn't have a pinion on it. But I do have a pinion. And just to make sure I match it up with the motor I'm pulling out, and I see that it's a perfect match. The Evo Trans requires an 11-tooth pinion, and these small motors are all press fit. I like to set mine by using blue Loctite. Just a small drop on the motor shaft, and then I press the pinion on. I'm curious to see how this sounds, as this brass pinion has been moved around from different motors, and it's gotten chewed up a little bit. I really should let this set up, but the motor is ready to get reattached to the motor plate. When reinstalling the motor to the motor plate, you want to make sure that you have the motor clocked in the right position with the motor wires facing towards the top of the trans. After the 2 screws which secure the motor to the motor plate, you have to marry the motor to the trans. It should go together easily, and then it's 4 screws to secure it all together. And just like that, your now brushless motor and trans are ready to go back into the chassis. You just need to line up the drive shafts and secure it with the 3 screws. Once again, do not forget the screw for the shift servo. With the motor and trans back in the chassis, it's time to start installing some of the electronics. This is where I realize I've made a mistake and I won't be able to use this shift servo as it doesn't have a 3-wire servo cable. Out with the old and in with the new. With that setback behind me, I can now show you how to hook up these electronics. First, I'm connecting the motor wire to the ESC, and then the ESC is going to get mounted to the top of the shift servo. I use Velcro to secure all my electronics to the chassis. Now you can begin connecting everything to the receiver. There's a saying I use to help me remember what goes to which channels, and that is 1 to turn, 2 to burn. So the steering servo is going to go to channel 1, the ESC is going to connect to channel 2, and we're going to use channel 3 for the shift servo. With everything secure, it's time to throw a battery in it, power this thing up, test it out. The steering works. It looks to be like it's in high gear. Shift servo worked for low gear. Here's a demonstration of second gear. I was actually pretty impressed with the Venom speed in high gear on 2S, but where this system really shines is its low speed modulation. I'm really enjoying these Furitek brushless systems. That's not to say that the stock electronics are bad. In fact, I really liked it when it was paired with the Mofo Big Block. It's just that once you start messing around with this brushless performance, it's hard to go back. Thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more from Diamondback RC.